We've got another laptop purchase to help a person with. This is Scott Travis. He's a relative of a relative of a relative. I think that's close enough for our purposes. So I'm going to click over here to my Zoom button and we'll introduce the players. Scott Travis on the bottom center of your screen. Hello, Scott.
Hi there.
And then Stan Betts in the upper left corner, who's been on many of my videos. Hello,
Hello.
Stan. Yeah. So Scott needs a new laptop. A little while back, we helped his mother, Joellen, to get a Chromebook, and he's actually in the Zoom session today using that very Chromebook. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, how is she liking it?
Well, she liked it just fine while she was staying at your brother's place. Since she moved home, she prefers her desktop just because that's what she's used to.
Oh, and that's how you have it. Okay. So then
Right. So I got lucky.
another one of my recent videos was helping my oldest brother, Tom, to buy a new laptop. And we've also done the same with Stan because we ordered the same laptop for Stan. Now with Tom, when we did the setup of his new laptop, we discovered that I missed something in the interview process. I don't know if you're aware of that, Scott, but while we were going through the setup with Tom, he kept trying to touch the screen because he's used to touch screen, and that laptop that we ordered is not a touch screen. So I missed that. I haven't had anybody among my clients who wanted a touch screen, so that's never been an issue. So because of that, I sat down this morning just before we got on the session with you and developed a checklist of things to go through for a person who wants a laptop. So just off of the top of my head, this checklist has 40 items to discuss. Ay, caramba. So, I mean, that could take a long time, but I was thinking maybe I just rip through this list with you so that you have these topics fresh on your mind. And then we could go looking for the computer. And with those topics fresh on your mind, you kind of take ownership of those points. Or the alternative is I do a longer interview with you to be sure that I'm on top of all of those preferences of yours. Some of these you may not care about. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just fine. Yeah.
Now you are on Zoom, and I'm not broadcasting this live. This is a live recording. Live recording means I intend to do no editing. If I accidentally reveal some private personal information, I will edit that before uploading it, but my intention is to do this kind of video without any editing, and that causes the possibility that I include blemishes and mistakes on my part. And I just think that's part of being an honest technician and showing what it's like to work in this field.
Sounds good.
So I have this checklist over on my second computer. I can easily punch a button and bring it up on my computer, but you don't get to see it that way. The only way for me to show it to you is for me to share my screen. That means I've got to open it on my streaming computer. It's kind of an unusual activity for me to put extra demands on this computer because this computer is not a state-of-the-art computer. It's a little bit behind. I'm going to be upgrading or replacing it in the near future. So I think that's probably the way I should do this. So, and obviously I hadn't thought through that part. So as you're watching me with my face moving all around the screen, that's because I'm actually on another screen now and I don't see you on Zoom anymore. I'm going to get to that page for me to share with you, to be able to share my screen. So let's see, I'm going to search your name and then click on the link that shows up, and there's that. So then I'll come back to here. Now I also have to turn off that the audience is seeing a CPU statistics on the bottom of my screen. I have to turn that off because I also have to stop the video from displaying my streaming software. That's where those statistics come from. So go over here to Tools, Settings, and hide XSplit Broadcaster from Display Capture. So now I should be able to switch back over to the Zoom meeting and share my screen. Let's see if this works. And I get a message saying you're restricted from screen sharing because I've turned off that security setting. So I'm going to reverse that. Now let's see if I can share screen. Still restricted. I remember that was a little difficult to do here. Now, some of the people who follow my channel on a regular basis, I'm going to start speaking out at the screen saying, does he know what he's doing? He seems confused. That's been a running gag on my channel ever since a viewer was thought of as a troll at one point said that when I was trying to find my way around something else. So how am I going to, I think I actually have to drop out of the session myself, the Zoom session, and come back in. So I'm not going to end the meeting for all. So Stan and Scott will still be there, but they're going to disappear from the video. So I'm going to put the video on me and then leave the session, assign and leave. I'm going to assign Stan as the new host, and then I'll come back in. Let's see, I guess I can show it from that angle. Start again. That should get me back in. Now you are restricted from screen sharing. You're connected remote, managing as host. Reclaiming host may disrupt breakout rooms. I'm going to reclaim host. You're restricted from sharing. Ay caramba. So that might have resulted in another video edit because I had to take a while to clean this image up so we get our picture-in-picture on the same screen where I'm editing this OneNote. So Scott, you had just told us about your Linux and Ubuntu laptop. Is that computer still functional?
No, it fell out of the back of our van when we were on a road trip in end of July. It was in my backpack, just slipped and hit the parking lot. So that killed it.
All right. So we're
and
not gonna...
I only paid $180 for it, and it was used. That was
right.
four years ago, and it had a few glitches in it.
All right.
To boot. So, just a few days after that accident, I went and bought a Lenovo laptop from Costco that was on sale.
Oh.
And it was a Windows 10 unit, and it really was terrific, except that it was $700, and I was considering keeping it until I was in the session with you and my mom, both of you guys.
Okay.
And you had warned her that Microsoft had just announced they were going to stop supporting Windows 10 units, in a few years, and I didn't want to buy a machine that would die in a few years. So eventually I returned that one when I learned I could borrow my mom's Chromebook here for a while.
Okay.
But at the moment of returning it to Costco, they said that Microsoft had just announced that they were going to offer free Windows 11 upgrades.
Okay.
To people.
Hold on. Your audio just went really bad.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, but that's not uncommon with this Chromebook for some reason.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why.
Okay. On the bottom left corner of your screen, there's a mute button. Click on the mute button and then click it again to unmute. Let's see if that cleans it up. Okay.
Sometimes that helps.
No.
Is it better?
No, that didn't. So sometimes, so you've experienced Zoom sessions with this before.
Yep. About half the time there's trouble with the audio echoing and getting all scrambled. And
okay.
I've switched to phone audio, and that works just fine. I can try that.
Oh, okay. So you connect using your phone?
Yeah. Should I try that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So how's that sound?
Oh, that's way better.
Good. I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Okay. There we go.
So you called into the Zoom session with your phone, and did that automatically turn off the microphone on the computer? Yes.
Yep. The same instant. Yep.
At the instant. So you didn't actually have to click anything on the computer to accomplish that. That's cool. I haven't had an experience to do that yet. All right. Okay. And is the battery life on your phone okay?
Checking. Yep, got plenty.
So many things to think about. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then you finished telling us about let's see, you're borrowing the Chromebook, and now you're wanting to get a computer for yourself. Now, do you want to be getting a regular Windows computer rather than a Chromebook?
Yeah, there's some reasons that I want to use Microsoft again.
Okay,
off because
that's enough. All I need is a yes or no on that. No explanation needed. Okay. So now, do you have any brand preferences or aversions as far as a new computer?
I don't think so.
Dell, HP, Lenovo, or other.
I've owned a few HPs. I've owned a couple HPs at least, and they've been just fine. The Lenovo that I had is really nice. I don't have any aversions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have had HP and Lenovo, and those are okay, or even others. Okay, so then continuing, Windows 10 versus Windows 11. I think it's pretty obvious that you want to have a Windows 11 computer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yes, but I learned that if I get a Windows 10, you get a free upgrade too. So
yes, but it's kind of irrelevant. That just means that you can do the free upgrade. But if you get a computer that comes from the manufacturer with Windows 11, that means that computer was specifically manufactured for use with Windows 11. So I think you're a leg up by getting a computer that was intentionally built for Windows 11. Screen size, the most common screen sizes are 13-inch, 15-inch, and 17-inch. It's around those numbers. Do you have a preference there that you already know of?
15 preference.
15-inch, okay.
Yep.
And then screen resolution, 720p versus 1080p. The higher resolution is more commonly what would look really good for like watching movies online. Typically adds a little bit more to the cost of the computer. So do you have a preference there? Do you want the better resolution, or do you want to squeeze money?
I probably want the better resolution, but it depends on the cost.
Yeah. I think it looks to me like it's pretty reasonable these days with the sales that are going on. Touchscreen. Do you want touchscreen?
It doesn't matter. I accidentally got it with that Lenovo from Costco for the last couple of months, and it was handy, but not of big value at all.
All right, great. Then do you care if the screen is really bright so that it can be viewed from an angle, or when outdoors, when bright light conditions, or do you use it mostly indoors?
Almost always indoors. That's not important.
Always indoors. Don't need to spend more money to get the brighter ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Then weight. Are you wanting to something lightweight that's really easy to carry around from place to place, or is it okay if it's a little bit heavier because you're not relocating very often? What about that?
I'm mostly in. I will be taking it around, but I'd rather have it be heavy and durable, because I've owned a few laptops and returned them to Costco because they were lightweight and flimsy. I didn't like that. Just assume they break, too soon.
Want heavy and durable. The keyboard, do you want the numeric keypad off on the right-hand side?
Oh, I do like that, but it's not critical.
Okay.
It's handy.
Want numeric keypad. External keyboard, would you be plugging in external keyboard often?
Nope, never done that.
Never external keyboard. How about external mouse?
Well, I mean, the external keyboard may be useful, but I've just never done it in the past. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just fine with the the trackpad mouse. I haven't hooked up a mouse to a laptop for a long time, so that's
trackpad mouse is fine. Don't need external. Okay. DVD drive. Yes or no?
That's don't need it, but it'd be nice for. So I guess it's a yes, but it's not necessary.
Okay, so I would reading between the lines there, I'd say that you might occasionally come across a need for a DVD drive, and since it's not often, you'd probably be fine with an external DVD drive that you plug into it when you want to use it.
That's true. That's fine. Yeah, we've actually got one. I forgot about it, but my wife owns one.
Oh, okay.
An external.
And have a portable already. So it's very common that the computers don't come with a DVD driver. The choices are fewer choices for them to have a installed DVD drive.
Gotcha.
So let's see. So stationary versus portable. What I'm going after here, and you kind of already answered that, is you're mostly stationary is perhaps meaning local to the house, but do you move around within the house?
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay.
And I take it on the road sometimes too. Off to work here and there.
And on road. Okay. Do you like to use it often on battery power?
Probably most of the time on battery power.
Most of the time on battery power. So battery life is important to you.
It's close to 50-50, I'd say, corded and hooked and unhooked, I should say.
Okay.
It's close.
Okay. Quietness versus speed versus heat. Higher powered computers, faster capable computers can get hot. If you have it on your lap, that can be a problem. They also have fans that will speed up. The slower CPU are typically going to be quieter, need less fan speed. Can you talk on that point?
I'm fine with some speed and noise for the sake of. Wait a minute. I'm fine with some heat and noise for the sake of speed. Yeah, I think the computer that I had for the last few years had a fan that was running a lot of the time. It didn't bother me.
Okay, so ideally the way that would work is that it's just when you're really taxing the computer, making it do something that takes a lot of processing power, that the fan would spool up. Desk footprint. You said heavy and durable, so that also translates to me saying that the physical size, the footprint on the desk, you're not restrictive about.
Oh yeah, I don't have any limits about that.
Okay.
But I don't want it. I don't want it bigger than the 15-inch screen size.
Right. Right.
I guess I know there's some wiggle room there, but.
Yeah, sometimes
I'm not attached to it being heavy. I just want it to be durable.
Okay, got it.
No.
Lappable. Do you tend to use a computer on your lap?
Probably about half the time.
Okay. And the reasoning behind that question is that translates to heat. And also to ventilation on the bottom of the computer, because you're on your lap, you could be blocking the vents. Software usage. I think you already mentioned Microsoft Office.
Yep.
Okay, so do you already have, well, I've got other questions about Microsoft 365, so let's do that later. Do you have other significant software worth mentioning?
No, I'm almost always just on the on the web, browsing,
Okay.
doing work on the web. But I do want to be able to run iTunes. That's the main thing that's driving us to want to use a Microsoft system rather than Linux.
Okay. Okay.
And there may be other stuff that I need to use that I don't know about yet.
Okay. Hey,
that won't work with Linux.
Let me ask you about where your phone is located, because we got some variation going on with the audio. Can it be, are you holding it in your hand or?
Yeah, I'm holding it.
Okay, but you're not covering the microphone part? Oh, okay.
Right like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it out of the screen.
Yeah. All right.
But I was moving it around.
You were moving it around. Yeah, it might help if you keep it stationary. Do you tend to have a lot of programs open at once?
Is that the same thing as tabs on a web browser?
No, it's not. Multiple tabs on a web browser is okay, but I'm going to include that in this question. So you do have, does that imply that you do keep a lot of tabs or often have a lot of tabs open?
Usually.
Okay.
Yeah, usually.
Okay, but not a lot of different programs. You're mainly Microsoft.
I suppose not.
Say again?
Yeah, I suppose not.
Okay.
I suppose I don't have multiple programs open usually.
Okay. You don't.
Web browsing.
Okay. Video streaming. Do you watch movies and things on using video services? Netflix, Hulu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watch videos. And then would you be doing things like Zoom conferencing? Video conferencing?
Yeah, that's pretty common. That's pretty common.
Yes, so that means need webcam and microphone built in, right?
Yep. That's ideal. Yep.
Okay. Do you have any occasion to connect to other computers remotely, or for other computers to connect to your computer remotely?
I don't think I've ever done that.
Okay.
No.
All right. Do you do any uploading of files, uploading of videos?
Well, I assume that's different than downloading files that somebody would send me an email, right?
The most common way to be doing that would be if you had a YouTube channel that you were you were a creator of videos for other people to watch.
Yeah.
And that would be
I'm not doing that.
No.
Not doing that.
All right.
I never have that I know of.
All right. I just thought of another question that I need to add into this list that did not dawn on me, and that makes sense for it to be right around this area of video streaming and Zoom conferencing. So I'm going to make that note in my Microsoft Word file, which is where this list comes from. And then I'm going to add those right in here I'm going to right click and choose table and insert above, and then do another insert above. I could have highlighted across 2 rows so that I could insert 2 rows at one time. So this question is going to be Ethernet, and the next question is going to be Wi-Fi. So do you want to have an Ethernet port?
It's not necessary, but it might be handy down the road.
Okay.
I don't think I've used one in years.
Okay.
So I don't have occasion to.
Okay. So
can I go back to that uploading question?
Yes.
We do upload photos to the web. I wonder if that counts. Is that the same sort of category?
It is. It's not very demanding, so that's fine.
Okay.
Uploading photos to where?
Oh, I guess various places,
Facebook?
Craigslist.
Okay.
Facebook, yep.
Craigslist.
To sell things or to share things.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's probably a small quantity of photos.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It is. And we've uploaded videos too. Now that I think about it, but that's not so often.
Okay. So on the Ethernet question, a lot of the computers these days don't come with an Ethernet port. So if we want to get one with an Ethernet port built in, that reduces the number of choices that we have. You can easily buy a USB Ethernet port for the seldom occurrence that you might someday need. And I would suggest we don't restrict our choices due to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Wi-Fi is available on just about all laptops. That's not really an issue, but that would be your main way of using this computer then would be Wi-Fi, and that's okay with you?
You bet. That's what I'm doing all the time.
Okay, so I'm going to say Wi-Fi is primary. So Microsoft Office can be purchased as a one-time purchase, or it can be subscription product through Microsoft 365. There's a free subscription product, or that's web-based, where you have to use a web-based version of Microsoft Word or Excel. The subscription, the paid model is where you can actually install the programs on your computer and they automatically get updated as Microsoft advances. There's advantages to the one-time purchase and the subscription. Do you already know which you want or which you already have?
No, I don't know enough to distinguish the pros and cons.
So here's the short.
I've only ever used the one that's loaded software on the computer in my previous laptops.
Okay.
But I've not known how to maintain them or manage them very well.
Okay. So the installed Microsoft Office as a one-time purchase, compared to the subscription product, it would take about 3 to 4 years of paying the subscription to equal the amount of money that you do the one-time purchase for. The one-time purchase never gets upgraded. It'll get updates, but it never gets upgraded. So eventually it's obsolete, and you would have to buy the license again. The one-time purchase is you can install on one computer. Now, I haven't checked recently. It's possible that you might be able to install on a second computer, but not nearly as much as the subscription product. The subscription product allows you to install the software on up to on one computer plus 5, so that's a total of 6, under your own email address. Now that's using the personal versions of Microsoft 365, which costs $69 a year. For $99 a year, it's a family subscription, and you can install it on 6 computers of your own. Now, even there, I've got a question mark in my mind, because I think it's you install it on your own computer plus 5, or on one computer plus 5 others for you. I don't think it's a total of 5. I think it's a total of 6. So one computer plus 5 for yourself, plus you can share the family subscription with up to 5 family members. And they sign in with their own email address, and they can install it on multiple devices. So it's like 25. It's like buying 25 copies of Microsoft Office. That can be argued.
Got it.
But it's a pretty sweet deal. I do the family subscription myself, and I share the subscription with my daughter. Then, now it's also, when I said 5 other computers, there's also devices, meaning you can install the software on your phone. Microsoft Word and Excel and Outlook on your phone or on a tablet. Then, let's see, where am I going next? Oh, also the subscription product, when you're paying for it, includes 1 terabyte of cloud storage using OneDrive. So your documents and all the stuff that you have on your computer that's considered your data can be backed up onto the cloud. Now, some people argue that it's not a backup. It is and it isn't. There are fine points to argue. It's not a sufficient backup for a business, but it does have your data in another location besides your computer, so that if your computer crashes, it's still safe. If you're using the free version, you get 5 gigabytes as opposed to a terabyte. Much larger with a terabyte. So that's kind of a lot of stuff to throw at you at once. Does anything make sense there?
That's good. I think well enough. I'd love to read it through again at some stage.
Don't have to make a decision now. Don't have to make a decision now. And you might already have a Microsoft account and not even aware of it. A lot of times people, when I go to set this up for them, we use their email address and discover that they already have an account. They didn't realize it, because if they had any email account that's hosted by Microsoft, or if they have an Xbox account from 20 years ago, I don't know if they had them 20 years ago, but I think they did. So could exist. So we may be coming up to needing your Microsoft account credentials, maybe Google account credentials. If you're interested,
I've got those.
You have those. Okay, so you have
got Google.
You have Google credentials. Do you know if you have Microsoft credentials?
I don't know, but I bet I do.
Okay. Yeah. And it's likely that we could do a password recovery if you know whatever security questions were previously set up for that, or also if it has an email address that you still have access to, that account is associated with. So that would deal with later. Now do you have other computers or devices that are using those accounts? Maybe you sign into your Google account with your cell phone.
Yep, I do.
So cell phone, do you have other computers that use those accounts?
We have an iPad that I imagine I've used my Google account on that iPad.
Okay.
Trying to think about it. That's probably it.
Okay. Do you use any password manager software?
No, but I wish I did. Right now I've just got passwords on a piece of paper.
Okay. Passwords on paper. Okay. Do you have favorite web browsers? Chrome, Edge, Firefox, something else?
Chrome. That's what I'm using.
Okay. And you probably have some bookmarks in Chrome.
Lots of them.
Okay. Lots of bookmarks. And that is attached to your Google account, right?
Yep.
So when we sign in on your new computer with your Google account, those bookmarks will just automatically synchronize, as long as we tell them to synchronize. So that's easy. Do you have Google Chrome remembering passwords for you?
Some, but just for accounts that don't seem so important.
Okay, that's a decent strategy. And if your Google password is not a good, complex, unique password, then that puts those remembered passwords at risk. Would you say your Chrome password is unique and complex?
I think so. It could be more, but it doesn't have any actual words in it. It's just a jumble of letters and numbers.
Okay, good. Let's see. So I do have favorites and bookmarks. Then do you have documents, pictures, videos, music, downloads stored on some device that we want to be putting on this new computer?
Various other devices. Like my wife's been trying to manage iTunes. I think she's able to. Yeah, so we'd like to put iTunes onto the new laptop that I get, because she has a work laptop that doesn't allow her to use iTunes on it anymore.
Okay.
What else? We've got photos from a couple different cameras that we'd like to manage all in one system. Same with videos too. So I'd really like to get all that consolidated.
All right.
And most of the word processing I do in Google Docs. Doesn't have to be that way, but that's how I've been doing it.
Okay, well that means those are all stored in the Google Cloud, aren't they? In your Google Drive, perhaps?
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome. Mm-hmm. Good. Let's see. Yes, iTunes. And videos, music. Okay, music is in iTunes, yeah. iTunes. And you didn't say anything about having video content stored, and that would be typically in the videos folder on a PC. That might be home videos or videos that you've done on a phone. That they actually might be in your pictures folder. iCloud. Do you use or want to use iCloud? So now wait a minute. Your cell phone, is it Android or iPhone?
Yeah, I just got my first iPhone.
Okay.
Like early September. So I'm still, it's an iPhone 8 Plus. I'm still climbing the iPhone learning curve because I've only ever had Androids in the past.
Okay.
So all of my videos from those Androids are piled up in my Google Drive. My Google Drive is almost totally full. So there's way too many videos of kids in that drive that I want to restore, store somewhere else.
Okay. So if we actually install iCloud and Google Drive on your computer, what that means is that the photos and videos would automatically become available through your computer without you having to go through emailing them as attachment or connecting with a wire or anything like that. So does that sound like something you want?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So then downloads, I don't think, a downloads folder, typically when you download something from the web on a computer, there's a downloads folder. Sometimes people rely upon those always being there because they want to go back and find them there. They don't move them to some other long-term storage location. I'm guessing you're not doing that you don't have a downloads folder somewhere that you want to put on the new computer. Is that right?
Oh, to transfer from my old computer?
Transfer from an old computer, an old device, a downloads folder that...
Oh, don't need to do that. Yeah, I don't think I can... Well, there actually were a bunch of files in that computer of mine from the summer that crashed and died, but I don't think there's... Well, I just can't get the thing to turn on.
Yeah, but
it'd be nice to see what files I've forgotten about in there.
Okay. Well, there is a possibility. If it won't turn on, it is possible to remove a drive from a computer and attach it to another computer as an external drive to access the files on it. Now, that's a Linux operating system on that. I've never tried accessing files from a Linux drive, but it might not be that hard to do. There's a lot of other factors that determine that. We'll have to leave that for down the road if we go down that road.
Sure.
Do you have a preference regarding new, manufacturer refurbished, seller refurbished, or used computer?
I'm wide open to all that. What's the difference between used and refurbished in your categories here?
Yeah, refurbished would imply that they've probably installed a SSD drive instead of a spinning drive and done a fresh install of the operating system. Manufacturer refurbished, they'll actually replace physical parts. If the lid of the computer is marred, they'll remove that and replace that. Now, it's not actually refurbished by Dell or HP, it's by authorized refurbishers. Seller refurbish is more going to be reinstalling the operating system and getting to a point where when you start it up, you get the initial out-of-box experience. Used would indicate that you can turn on and it's just going to come right into the Windows desktop, and basically all they've done is deleted data from somebody else. Now, I think I can probably shortcut this question by saying that current market conditions, there's some really good sale price on brand new directly from manufacturer. With Tom and Stan, we purchased directly from Dell, and actually got fast delivery for Tom. We selected the fast delivery for Stan, but that didn't happen. For Tom, it was interesting because we could do the standard delivery, which is going to be 7 to 8 days shipping time from when Dell actually shipped it. Or we could pay extra money, about $35, to get it in 6 days instead of 7 days. It was only going to cut it short by 1 day. When we selected the 2-day delivery, that was free. So that was weird, a weird point in the marketplace. For Stan, when we went to that option, it said the free, there was like 8 days for free, 7 days for $35. Next day delivery was free for Stan. So we selected that. However, it now looks like it's going to be, about 8 days for it to actually arrive?
Yes, it was scheduled for today, and it's coming tomorrow. Now it looks like it's coming tomorrow.
Yeah. So now, at one point it was scheduled for today, but the next day delivery, the original delivery date, was, I think, Thursday of last week. Yeah. So there are supply chain and transportation troubles these days.
Yeah.
So we may run into that. So then, do you have any preference over purchasing through Amazon or direct from a manufacturer? I think I've heard enough from you already that you're open to either, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Shipping destination would be to your the reason why I put this in my questionnaire is because sometimes I'd be ordering a computer for a client who is local to me, in which case it would ship to me and I would do the initial setup and configuration. Since you're across the country, I would think that we want to ship it to you, and then I could help you remotely with the initial setup.
Yeah, that's great.
Agreed? Okay, ship to, and that's Minnesota, right?
You got it, Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. I wonder if I spelled that right. Well, you're seeing it on your screen, I think.
So, yeah, it's really small for me, but it looks right.
All right. Configuration plans, do you think that's something you want to do yourself, or you want to let me help you with over a video?
Oh, I'd be glad for some help.
Okay. Doug, help over video. Okay, so that is the 40 questions. And we actually asked and answered on each of them. So let's see. I'm going to stop the screen share now. That brings us back to the video, but let's see if that showed up right on on the recording that I'm doing. I'm waiting for this to change screens, and it hasn't yet, so looks like I gotta go edit this. But that did it. Yep. Ay caramba, why do I do this with all the buttons? Okay, so we've come to learn your preferences and all of this. So now, there we go. It was an Inspiron 15 3000. This one's 329, but it's much less storage space and less memory. That's why it's less expensive. It's the 1920 by 1080, which is the higher resolution. And a year ago, I remember really struggling trying to find a 1080p laptop and having to pay more for it. So this is really showing that that's kind of becoming a standard now. There's that. Now that's a desktop over there. Here we go. This is it. $499. So it's $289 off, 37% off of its normal price. That's a Black Friday type of sale price, as far as I can tell. It's an let's go click on this so that we get a bigger view of that laptop. Notice.
Can you zoom in at all?
Yeah, I think so. We value your feedback. No thanks. So if I hold down the control key and use my scroll wheel, that'll show the computer bigger.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah. So there's, I think this is an SD card slot on this side. That looks like a USB, and that's probably headphone port. $499, free next day delivery. Order before 2 p.m. Central Time. So free next day delivery, so they say.
Yeah.
But it might not actually happen. But I don't think you're in a time crunch. Are you?
Nope, you're right.
All right.
Nope, I'm not.
So it's a 10th generation Intel Core i5. This 10,000 number is what is a more specific model number of the CPU. So it's a above the middle of the road processor for current day market. I could kind of argue that an i3 is really the bottom level that I like to see anybody order these days. Then there's i5, i7, i9, and there's even above that that's marginally available, but I don't know that those are available with Dell yet. It's Windows 11 Home, English, Intel UHD graphics. That's what gives us the 1920 by 1080 display, which there are higher levels of display, but those would only be needed by people that are doing like AutoCAD or really high-end graphic stuff. For watching videos, this is perfectly ideal.
Yeah, plenty for
15.6 inch display, which is what you're asking for. It is anti-glare. We do know that you have some glare issues going on there. LED backlight. Now this is a non-touch, and so that's what we missed with Tom, where he clearly likes touchscreen. And I think that's because he's in the habit of touching screen in his airplane. It's a narrow border around the screen. It's a 512 gigabyte M.2 PCIe NVMe solid state drive. This is really the Cadillac, the fast operating storage medium. And it's 512 gigabytes based upon the description of your content. That should be plenty for you. The next level up would be a 1 terabyte drive space, and I have a hard time filling that on my computers or pushing that limit. So I think that's really good level based upon your description. It's 12 gigabytes of memory. The minimum would be 8 gigabytes these days. Some people would argue that a computer should come with, you should be buying 16 gigabytes, but because you're not keeping a lot of different programs open at the same time, just multiple tabs in a Chrome browser, the 12 gigabytes should be plenty for that. It's a good fast RAM. It's a 3-cell battery and has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capabilities, and does not have an Ethernet port. Does not have a DVD drive built in. All of those points are conforming to what your answers during the interview process.
Yeah. Does it say anything about audio quality?
I don't think we saw anything that it claims in that regards, but I expect it to be very good just because of the level computer it is. So I'm just exploring around right now to see if I can come up with an answer for that. Operating system, Windows 11 or 10. Coming down further, just your type any day, easy on the eyes, more to see. We can see that the webcam is built in right there at the lid. But I want to see some other description of that. Thoughtful design, purposeful features. It should be saying something about that. Easy to use technology. Unite devices with Mobile Connect. Latest, greatest. Ports and slots. It has 2 USB ports. We see them over here. Those are 2 USB 2.0 ports. And then a USB 3.2 port, which would be this one over here. And actually 2 USB 3.2s. And, that USB 2.0 is a single port. It's number 2. This is a USB 2 port right here. And then number 6 and 7, those are USB 3.2. So that's a higher speed port. And there's HDMI. There's an HDMI connector here if you want to connect an external monitor. There's a power jack, and then number 3 is an audio jack, and number 1 is an SD card slot. So do you use cameras other than cell phones?
Yeah, we've got a DSLR, like what do you call it? Yeah, that's what it is.
The DSLR is good enough. Does it use SD cards for storage?
Yes.
Yeah, so you could plug an SD card directly into this slot to copy photos to the computer. Dimensions and weight. The height, it's 0.74 of an inch at the back, and it tapers down to the front 0.68 of an inch. So 0.74 of an inch is almost 3/4 of an inch. So that's the piece of it that I think makes this a substantial computer. You are interested in weight and durability.
Listen, I am remembering now that I think I bought an Inspiron, a Dell Inspiron from Costco years ago, and it just seemed chintzy, flimsy. Like the top lid screen was flexible, and I asked them about it at the store, and they said these just last a few years until they start to go bad. So I do have a little red flag in mind about another Inspiron, but maybe they're better quality now.
Yeah, well, I'd kind of like for you. I don't know, how often do you go to Tom's house or vice versa? I know you guys. Well, yeah, I was hoping to see him. I'm going up to Duluth tomorrow if our cat's not too sick, but he is getting on a plane today with Therese and flying. They're going to Ohio for the long weekend, so we're going to miss him. So that won't see him. That won't work. But I think I might be up there. I could go up there one of the next couple weekends. I think that'd be a good thing for you to actually, get your hands on it before you decide. And there's no obligation for you. Tom, I asked him about it, and he'd like to have the touchscreen, but it's not a big deal. So if you decide to pass on this, there's not going to be any disappointment or hurt feelings there. But it just does give him the opportunity to get the touchscreen. It was actually a kind of comical when Stan and I were in the Zoom session helping him with setting it up. He just kept trying to touch the screen, and we'd say, nope, it's still not a touch screen. Now I get it. Yeah. So I think I heard, Stan, you're getting the same machine coming to you, identical?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without the touch.
And
correct.
Oh, okay. Right. And Tom's is still returnable?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes. So even Tom, if Tom were to choose to return it to Dell to order the more expensive computer that has the touch screen, he could do that. Okay. But in returning it, there might be a restocking fee or something. I don't know. If it works out that this one fits all of your needs, and you don't have to compromise at all to say, yeah, that works fine for me, well, then that's easier than him returning it.
Yeah, I'd love to have a good excuse to go visit, or another excuse to go visit Duluth too. So maybe that could work out.
Okay.
The other red flag in mind is the processor, the i5, Intel i5.
Yes.
I can't remember what kind of processor I had in the HP that I had that died in South Dakota. But the Lenovo that I got from Costco just end of July, that had an i7 in it, and it seemed to cruise along really nicely. But I don't know how it would compare to an i5, something brand new like this.
Yeah.
I know the processing, or the speed, like the ease of use speed, that kind of thing it's not just determined by the processor, right?
Right. So let's look at that a little bit. Here's this i5 10th generation. If you were to have this computer would be faster than an i7 8000 some odd processor from an 8th generation. This is a 10th generation, so each generation is faster.
Okay.
So it's an unfair thing to compare just the I number. So you'd have to be finding out your i7, was it an i7 2000, 3000, 6000 in order, and then in order to compare. So the computer that I'm connected to you right now is an i7, and I'm going to pull up here more specifically what it is. I think the way that I'm sharing this screen on video, I think this will display, but I'm not sure it'll display for you. Are you seeing a screen right now at the top that says About?
Yep.
Oh, you are? Okay. And it looks like that's going over the recording too. So my computer here is an i7 2600K. Now I just highlighted that. I'm going to press Control-C to copy that. And then I'm going to come over here and highlight this i5 10035G1, Control-C to copy that. Then I'm going to open a new browser tab, and in the Google search field, I'm going to press Windows key V, which is a clipboard history. So it remembers the prior things that I've copied. So now I'm going to click on i7, so that pastes that in here. And then I'm going to do VS space. I'm going to do Windows key V again, and I'm going to paste in your processor. So here I'm comparing the processor on my computer with this one that we're proposing for you. And we're going to be able to see a speed comparison between these two. Now I only want one space surrounding the VS. It would probably work anyway. And press the Enter key. And then this shows us here in search results, cpu.userbenchmark.com, and it's comparing, it has exactly these two processors that I just asked to compare. Okay. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to show us how those two compare to each other. So here's mine on the left, and here's yours on the right. And then let's scroll down here. So let's see, superseded, 4 cores, 8 threads, 3.4 gigahertz. 4 cores, 8 threads, 1.0 gigahertz. That's not true. It's not a 1.0 gigahertz. Why does it say that? Do I not have the right one? 1035G1. 1035G1. Let's go back here and look at this again. 1035G1, but this says 3.6 gigahertz. I'm clicking on these alternates here. See. Well, that's just not the right processor. So I don't know why. Let's go back here to those search results again. I'm going to use my back button. The upper left corner, I got to click it a few times because I've done a few clicks while I've been in here. Get back to that Google screen. Here we go. Let's look at this next one. Here's another comparison of those two. I'll right click and choose open a new tab. That way I keep this Google search screen still open in case we need to do that again. So here's i7 2600 versus the i5 10000. And let's see what this tells us. Price now. This is price comparison. This is a 2012 processor I have in this computer. Game supported 97% versus 89%. Come down here. Ice Lake 317. Come on, give me some processing information. Well, that's showing 1 gigahertz again. Base clock, boost clock 3.6. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. All right, the L1 cache is 64 gigabytes compared to 320 kilobytes. Sorry, kilobytes on each of those. 256 kilobytes versus 2 megabytes. So those two numbers are much higher on yours. L3 cache actually has more on mine. Chip lithography, I'm not familiar with that one. Die size, 100 degrees maximum core temperature. Technologies, this is not as easy to digest comparison as what I'm accustomed to seeing. And so far, I'm not real enthusiastic about what I'm seeing, and I'm surprised. So let's be sure we're getting valid information here. Okay, so here, reasons to consider the Core i5. Here on the left is yours, on the right is mine in this comparison.
Okay.
Here's a bunch of versus numbers. So yours is on the left, 100 degrees versus 72 degrees. Manufacturing process technology, L1 cache, yours higher than mine. So these numbers are the same as that other comparison that we saw, confirming that the left side is yours. Thermal design power, 15 watt versus 95 watt, which is implying yours is more power efficient. Pass mark, single thread mark. This is a speed comparison. So that particular benchmark, speed benchmark, 2300 versus 1700. And this CPU comparison, 7800 versus 5400. Face detection, not interested. Ocean surface, not interested. So what we are, here's better thing. I like these graphics. Yours is the light blue, mine is the dark blue. So your i5 is showing like this number. And these are the numbers, 2323. I think these are the numbers, 2323. These are the numbers we were seeing up there, but these are graphically. So showing the i5 is faster than my i7. And it varies on different types of benchmarks, how much faster. But you can see that that i5 beats my i7 every time, substantially. So let's see, you were comparing your prior two computers, I think you said a Dell and a Lenovo. Is that right? What you were saying?
The one that I had for a few years was an HP. That's the one that crashed and died back at end of July. And then I got a Lenovo from Costco's brand new. And that had the i7. I've got the model number, or the whatever it is, the number after i7, like 1165G7. Does that mean 11th generation?
Yeah, it does. How long ago did you buy it?
Yeah. Got that end of July, but I returned that one, thinking that.
Then also, that higher processor might not be responsible for the zippiness that you felt with it. You can easily feel the same zippiness with a CPU that's lower, because the zippiness is dependent upon your Wi-Fi speed capability, your mass storage capability, and the CPU. So the i7, even if it's higher than what we're looking at here, it doesn't strike me as something that's going to make a difference for what you described, your utilization for the computer. Now, also, since we're proposing that you actually get your hands on Tom's, you can try it out.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, you get in that regards, as far as considering his computer, you get a sweet advantage there. So you can get multiple tabs open. You can sign into your Google account on his computer and open a bunch of your bookmarks and click back and forth. Now, you do have to realize that you're on his Wi-Fi and his internet speed, which has something to do with what you're seeing.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Let's see. Okay, so I just punched the wrong button there for a little while on my recording. So I'm kind of thinking that we've done about all the damage that we can do for today, because we're pitching the idea that you should consider taking possession of the computer that Tom has, and then he can pay more money, which we want to make him spend more money, right? To get the touch screen that he'd like to have.
All right.
And that's probably going to happen after he gets back. So he and I were talking about reconnecting again to do the next phase of setup for his computer. And all we did was he took it out of the box and went through the initialization, and it signs in with his Microsoft account. It's extremely easy to change that over to your Microsoft account or using a local account. So there's really very, very little time down the drain for him or me. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Shall we go ahead and say goodbye then?
Yeah, sure. We'll stay in touch. Thanks a lot.
Okay, very good. I'm going to go ahead and end the Zoom session, and I'm going to give my little elevator speech that I make at the end of my videos, and I'll be in communication with you through email or phone or whatever.
Right on. Well, happy holidays. Thanks a lot.
All right, and Scott, thank you again for letting me help you through this, because this creates valuable content on my YouTube channel.
Awesome. Yeah, most welcome.
All right, here we go. End meeting. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, so that was fun. Let's see if I get back to this screen right. Yeah, there it is. And I'm going to put up my email address on the screen. If you would like to request a support session, these support sessions, I make my services available free to people over YouTube and utilizing Zoom. Some of those sessions I like to broadcast live over my channel, and some of them I'll do as live recordings, like we did with this one. You can send an email to me, DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com. Give me a brief idea of what you'd like to have help with. It can be to fix a problem with your computer. It can be having to do with a computer that's not booting. We can actually do this without me connecting remotely to your computer. We can use your cell phone for a Zoom session or a computer. Variety of ways to do it. So send me an email, let me know what you want, and we'll try to put it together. I hope this has been useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.